everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are well and warm. It was 1 degree when I dropped the kids off this morning. O had a science project to turn in and it was not something that would have fared well on the bus. It was very, very frigid this morning. So today's video is a budget with me for our February 15th paycheck. It is what we will have to go for an entire month or until March 14th. So last month I had tried a new method of denoting bills with stickers and I really didn't like that much. I decided to go back to my method with the Stabilo Boss highlighters, but in the process, I also realized that I don't like turning the page to the new calendar month and leaving the paycheck breakdown in the previous month. The solution? Create a page that's an at-a-glance that I can use for both months. So you'll see as I'm numbering this that it goes from February 15th to March 14th, and I've denoted the start of March with one of those stickers. Now I can see everything due throughout this paycheck, and it's right next to the paycheck budget breakdown. So while I'm filling in the bills, I wanted to take a moment to say that we do follow the YNAB method. If you don't know what that stands for, it stands for You Need a Budget. I had a comment on my last video asking if we have tried it because it's fantastic. And yes, we have, and we still do. Initially, we were struggling with budgeting when we were paid weekly. We were trying to fit our weekly paychecks into meeting the obligations of a calendar month, and it just was not working. We spent a lot of time and money searching for a budgeting method that would work for us, and one of those methods we tried along the way was YNAB. After reading the YNAB book, we decided to give this method a try. And while I find their online budgeting a bit of a nightmare with a large learning curve, and we are very computer literate, there is something to be said about the system itself. For us, that's when the light bulb went off that we needed to fit our income into the current obligations while still reaching the overall goals for the month or the year, or what YNAB refers to as embracing our true expenses. So we started using a budget calendar, fitting our paycheck into the calendar and using it in conjunction with this workbook that I created to help us budget our money better. And we have made a lot of progress since switching to this method. Is it perfect? No. Being paid monthly allows for a lot of wiggle room within the month. I simply cannot know every single detailed expense that will come up over the course of the next 28 to 31 days. But I can better plan for it and leave some wiggle room. I'll leave a link to the book below. It really is worth a read. And I'll also leave a link to their online system. It won't be an affiliate link since I no longer pay for their subscription service, but they do give 34 days free, so if you'd like to try it out before shelling out I think it's $84 a year, you can do that too. As for our current system, we use a mix of this workbook, Google Sheets, and Undebt It. Undebt It is merely for motivation as we go through paying off our debts, and it's a nice calculator. Is that perfect too? No. That goes by the calendar month and suggests what we can pay off next based on where we are in the calendar month, and not the pay month as we do. Inevitably, there's always going to be some give and take, and that's okay. Progress is the name of this game, not stuck in the same old rut. So upcoming in this next month, I'm expecting the trash company to leave us their quarterly bill, and next month I know we'll have some county township taxes due as well as a potential propane delivery. I'll say this, I love this year at a glance portion of this workbook. If it were not for this, we wouldn't have known to expect a propane delivery. We would have just let it go that they know what's best, and well, they were late. I checked our tank, and when I called to see when they had our next delivery scheduled at, they had us scheduled way out still. We would not have made it that long. For reference, our propane is only our stove and our water heater. We've had the tank run out before, and we've paid those extra delivery, hazmat, and resetting fees. But being on top of it like this has helped save the money right there. It may be $10, but you know what? When propane is $4.50 a gallon and they deliver 70 gallons in one shot, whatever is saved is still money saved. So when I set up our monthly budget, I only account for what our actual income is. The other categories that you see at the top under income, they come from our sinking funds. I save up money over the course of the year to pay for these items when the time comes. So when the propane bill comes, I pull out the money from the non-monthly sinking fund, since it is a non-monthly bill, and use that money to pay for the propane bill. The same goes for gifting, dental expenses, etc. Now our dental sinking fund, I did have to adjust this month. I base our sinking funds for this year off of what we spent last year. We were only at the dentist once last year, given the current health issue since it is 2021. And I calculated what we needed to save up this year by what we spent last year, doubled. I was a smidgen shy using this method. Now, our medical, dental, and vision sinking funds are what we pay out of pocket. This is not what we contribute through Hubs' paycheck. That's done and over with before we even see his check. This is what we owe, our portion of deductibles, copays, prescription costs, differences between billed and charged. The cost of our insurance we don't save for and we don't see. All of that is dealt with before Hubs receives his check. Now, just like the propane bill, I am expecting a medical bill for B's blood work, and I'm expecting to pay a dental bill for all 5 of us. And Hubs has a filling he needs to get done at the end of February, and I don't account for things like that in our sinking fund amounts because it's not something we routinely go for, like preventative exams. So when I set up our bills for the month, I realized halfway through that this should be the last payment I make on our city card. So I logged in, checked the current balance that was due, and saw that I won't have to pay the $620 we usually allot for that in the last few months. And I adjusted the K-Chase amount for that, so formally on a pastel blue Post-it. Cash envelopes. We haven't really been using cash envelopes for a while now, and for right now, just using debit is working for us, so we're going to continue to do it that way. As I'm setting up our spending categories in food, household, etc., I'm looking at what we have spent so far for January's paycheck. We went a little over our food budget. This is that wiggle room I was talking about. Feeding teenage boys among rising food costs is definitely a challenge. So this month, I'm deciding to stick with the $750 food budget. I don't know. It's a shorter month by 3 days, yeah, but it's still shorter. Maybe those 3 days will be enough of a mental motivation for me to stick with that. You'll see later, I decide to create a monthly meal plan again, which I haven't done in a long time, but basically, I just create a list of about 20 to 30 meals and pull from that list of meals based on what we have in the fridge, freezer, pantry, based on what our budget looks like and how busy our week looks. It doesn't mean that we stick to this meal plan to a T, but it's a nice guideline of meals to help keep us within budget. The other categories here are pretty much the same except for miscellaneous. We didn't even spend $150 in miscellaneous, like eating out, crafty items, that kind of stuff this month, and that's a huge plus, so I've lowered it for the month of February. Finally, debit expenses like fuel, therapy, dance, and so on. I mentioned before that I can't really lower our fuel budget because I'm unsure of what's going on. I don't want to set our fuel budget to $100 a month and then plan on the kids being home quarantined, but they're really still going about all the activities and school is still open. I would much rather budget on the higher end and not need it all and send the overage to debt on March's payday. As for therapy, there are currently 6 sessions scheduled over the course of next pay month, and if more crop up, I will adjust this as needed. So for the breakdown, income $5,800, sinking funds $934, bills $2,611, cash envelopes $1,400, and debit $360. After it all, we're estimating a $495 buffer at the end of the month. I debated briefly if I should add half of this to that K-Chase, but you'll see I ultimately go against it. I don't know what Hubs' filling will cost, and my high schooler has told me that there are some costs for chorus, act dec, and drama that will come up throughout this month. I just don't know exactly when. So my goals for this paycheck are to stick to that $750 food budget, create a monthly meal plan to help stick to that $750 food budget, and to pay off Citi and send at least $300 to K-Chase, which is $74 more than I currently have budgeted for. That's giving a decent buffer for anything school related or however much this filling is going to cost us. That's it for this budget with me. If you like this video, please click that like button. A lot of you liked that January budget check-in that I did, so I will do them more often as well. If you want to see more of my videos, including our January budget review, click that subscribe button. In the meantime, wear a mask, stay healthy, and until next time, bye.